Hey there, everyone. It's great to have you with us. It's Rodney from Super License back again for a F1 stream. It's the Belgian Grand Prix weekend, one of my favorite races in the whole calendar, in the whole entire calendar. The calendar that next year will be extra packed. You know what? Spa will still be my favorite. How do you like them apples? Thanks for joining the live stream or watching the replay. It's great to have you watching. And I've got a couple of stories I want to cover tonight. As always, for those watching live, please feel free to ask a question, leave a comment. I'll do what I can to not give my usual stupid answers to things. But you know, sometimes I just can't help myself. It's time for a Super License stream. You know what that means.
Wow, I guess this is a big moment. I should care about it.
So let's get straight into the big moment from the weekend so far, by which I mean, given that I'm recording this pre-race, means the sprint race. My favorite thing. I really wish the sprint races would go away. Anyway, I want to talk about the Hamilton-Perez incident because it's been a bit of a flashpoint, and it's not that I want to talk about it. I feel like I should talk about it. But one of the things that I'm going to do in covering the Hamilton and Perez incident, there's a few things that we could do, and there's a couple of points that I want to make about it. Obviously, we had the sprint race. There was an incident between Hamilton and Perez. I watched the highlights of the sprint race, and I didn't even see anything happen. But I had heard Hamilton got a penalty. I'd heard that it knocked Perez out of the race, and I heard that it knocked Hamilton down, tumbling down from P4 to P7. Apparently a huge problem. What I thought we would do, start with the incident. Seems fair. I'll share this into the stream so we can all have a bit of a look-see, see what we think of it. Now, obviously, I've noticed since I started streaming stuff online that Formula One really does not like it when you stream their stuff. So what I thought I would do is find this replay, and I really hope this won't get me in any trouble. We're not going to watch it live, but we're going to analyze it just a little bit. Basically going to go through this sort of, not frame by frame, but we're going to have a bit of a good look at it, right? And we're going to see what happens. And then we're going to read some comments. And after watching this and then reading those comments, you can tell me whether you think whether those comments are justified or whether you think they're a cock and bull story, basically. This is the corner where it happens. You can see Hamilton is challenging on the inside. Perez is on the outside. Right here, Hamilton's a little bit behind, but not too bad. You can see that they're fighting. Here is where the corner starts to close. Hamilton's still on the inside. Perez squeezing over slightly. Not saying he's not, but that's what happened. Notice also, one thing I'm going to point out as we go through this, the angle of Hamilton's steering wheel. So he's steering in reasonably hard here. This will obviously be different if you watch it live as well. Your interpretation of it, the way people react, you know, what they're doing as they move through the corner, all of that will be completely different than this. I'm just making a point with this. So here we go. Let's jump forward a little bit. So Perez closing in, getting in closer to the corner. Hamilton turning in more. As we get, this is actually coming out of the corner. So this is an important point to make here. If you notice here, Hamilton, look how much Hamilton is turned in here. This is where he's over on the curb, you know, a fair bit turned in to avoid making contact with this fella over here. They get out of the corner. Hamilton suddenly, do you see this? Opens up his steering wheel here. And the car moves to the left. Now, we'll get to what the stewards deemed later. But remember, Hamilton was on the curb. And remember, these conditions, pretty dodgy, pretty mixed. We get on a little bit further. Here's Hamilton really opening it up. Look at this. He's basically going straight. And he's behind the whole time. Now, you know, you can be alongside. Fine. He's also quite a way away from the curve over here. I think we're sort of, this jumping through is not the best, but we start to get to the point over here where we start making some contact. Perez running out of space here. Hamilton moved quite a way away from the edge of the track here. Perez moving closer to the track over here than Hamilton is almost. And we get to the point where there's contact, bang. And look where the cars are when the contact happens. So Just not a good look, right? Just flat out not a good look. Let's get to some of the reactions. Obviously, sometimes you've got to turn to somebody who truly knows what they're talking about. And in my times of need, I look to none other than Martin Brundle, Sky Sports F1 commentator, former driver, decades of experience, extremely well respected. If that's not racing, then I don't know Martin Brundle feels for Lewis Hamilton after he was handed a harsh 5-second penalty. We scroll down. As he made his move, Hamilton understeered slightly and made contact with the side of Perez's car, causing significant side pod damage. The damage proved to be severe enough to force Perez out of the race as he rapidly fell down the order due to the impaired performance of his car. This next line killed me. The penalty had a significant impact on Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton's race, dropping him from 4th to 7th place in the final classification. So they're equating Perez getting hit and his car being damaged to Hamilton tumbling down the field due to a penalty that he got. Brundle, who is renowned for his insightful commentary and deep understanding of the sport, shared his perspective on the incident. Defending Lewis Hamilton's actions, Martin Brundle highlighted the essence of racing and the inherent unpredictability of on-track situations. He stated that it was not the case of Hamilton attempting an impossible move or recklessly endangering himself or others. Hamilton had legitimately positioned himself on the inside of the corner, making his move in line with the competitive nature of the sport. Now, this might stun you. I don't know every F1 rule and regulation, but I know a straw man argument when I see it. Martin is saying Hamilton didn't deserve a penalty because it wasn't reckless and he didn't just throw his car up the inside. But you might not believe this, but that's not the standard that you have to meet for not getting a penalty here. He also said Hamilton had legitimately positioned himself on the inside of the corner, making his move in line with the competitive nature of the sport. Now, no one's saying Hamilton didn't legitimately position himself on the inside of the corner. No one's arguing that. But that's also not all you have to do. In Martin Brundle's eyes, the collision was a racing incident and the penalty handed down was too severe. He argued that Lewis Hamilton had claimed the corner. What? He wasn't even in front, but apparently he claimed the corner. And even if he did, that doesn't excuse what he did on the exit. He claimed the corner and was already positioned on the inside when the incident occurred. Okay, sure, I guess. Furthermore, Brundle pointed out that there had been an error in the corner before by Sergio Perez, which might have contributed to the situation. This breaking news just in, that's not how that works. You can't say Hamilton didn't deserve a penalty because Perez made a mistake on the corner before. That's just not how that works. I understand what the stewards have done. This is Brundle. But I would want to call that a racing incident because Lewis can't disappear in that moment. He claimed the corner. What can he do? Now look, Lewis claimed the corner. He can't disappear. Those things are all true. He hit him on the exit of the corner, wrecked his car, wrecked his race. You saw how that steering wheel was moving, whether it was because he hit the corner, whether it was because he drove over the curb, whether it was the conditions, whatever. Hamilton was the one who drifted into Perez and wrecked his car. This is wild stuff. It truly is. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the damage on Perez's car. This is from the new Threads web interface. Yay for Threads, hey? All I need now is a way to pause the video. But look at this. Look at this damage right here. Unbelievable. Tore that thing a new a-hole. Do you know what I'm saying? When Toto Wolff saw that, he said,
"The car is bad, we know. Please drive it."
But he couldn't drive it because he wrecked it. That car is stuffed. Mate, there's no coming back from that. That won't buff out, okay? It just won't. So why am I going over this? What's the point? Well, as always, I look to the media with a critical eye. Here's the race. TheRace.com. Headline, Hamilton ruined Perez's race, but did it deserve a penalty? Well, that's the question. That's the question we're all trying to answer here. They go through what happened. You know what happened. You know what Red Bull thought about it. You know what Mercedes thought about it. Let's not go over any of that stuff. Let's get to the meat of it. Our takes on it. This is TheRace.com journalists writing about this. John Sotil. Blah, 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 blah. Therefore, Hamilton did ultimately cause the collision, and a small 5-second penalty that he still had the potential to nullify during the race seems like a fair punishment to me, and exactly the kind he'd be calling for if the positions were reversed. Good call. The other thing I'm again calling for, me, Rodney. Me, nobody. Nobody with any experience or justification. What I'm calling for yet again is not a 5-second penalty, because as John points out here, Hamilton got a 5-second penalty and he was in a position then to put the hammer down and try and close off some of that 5 seconds and mitigate the penalty, which you just shouldn't be able to do. So I am yet again asking you, Bernie Sanders style, please give us a 1-position drop penalty option that we can just say, Hamilton, no matter where you finish, you are going to get a 1-position drop. That's it. End of story. I wish we had that. Going back to the hot takes from the folks at TheRace.com, here's Matt Beer. I think it's fair to say that Beer falls in the Brundle camp. Matt Beer, this was a pure racing incident, as pure as you're going to get. If you're going to penalise it on the grounds of the consequence it had, then the implication is that dangerous driving that doesn't result in someone getting damaged isn't penalty worthy. Now, again, that's not true. That's not actually it. You could do both. You could say the way you drove, knocking another car out of the race, the consequences of that mean that you, if you are the person causing the incident, deserve a penalty. You could also say someone who is dangerous driving in a way that doesn't result in another car getting damaged could also be penalised. So this argument, so far, let's just say I gave it some water and it didn't hold it very much. Offering an opinion on Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes, Red Bull spat is always a little dicey these days. You see what he's done here? He's conflated an incident between Lewis Hamilton and a Red Bull driver. I mean, I think you can already tell where he's going with this. Verstappen was not involved in this incident, by the way, just to remind you. Offering an opinion on any Hamilton, Mercedes, Red Bull spat is always a little dicey these days. He's aware how dicey this is. Let's see where he goes. Especially if you happen to be the same nationality as one of the parties involved. So in the interests of balance and to hopefully avert any British bias response, I'll add that I saw nothing particularly wrong with how the end of the 2021 season played out. Matt Beer, why would you go there? This is Austria all over again, where Hamilton was given a penalty for the way he drove, a fair and reasonable penalty that moderately affected his poor results. And we have to go drudging up 2021 Abu Dhabi again. Unbelievable. Martin Brundle, Matt Beer are saying this.
Lewis, I love you and respect you.
And I am saying this.
I'm tripping major nutsack right now.
And Max Verstappen won, and he couldn't care less, and he's got more important things on his mind.
Mate, where's the toilet paper?
Look, I'm having fun. You have to have fun when you do these things. Let's get to one of the other juicy stories from the weekend. We are well and truly in the F1 silly season. There's been all kinds of rumors about all kinds of drivers going to all kinds of other teams. But the one that I didn't have, as the proverbial saying goes, the one I didn't have on my bingo card is Alpine Clearinghouse getting rid of basically everybody and inviting back in the Where's Wally lookalike champion 2004 to 2017 inclusive, Mattia Binotto. Let's have a look at what the sportrush.com had to say. While Alpine named Otmar Safnauer's replacement, Veteran F1 journalist reveals Mattia Binotto is likely to join Alpine. Woo, 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 woo. In a shocking turn of events, Alpine sacked team principal Otmar Zafnauer moments after the FP1 ended in Spa-Francorchamps on Friday. Zafnauer will lead the team one last time this weekend in Belgium. After that, Alpine Motorsports Vice President Bruno Feynman is tipped to take his place for the time being. Now, renowned F1 expert Jose Wood 5000 reveals that former Ferrari boss Mattia Binotto could be in line to become team principal of the Enstone-based outfit. I do love it when people refer to a group of people as an outfit. It's just a funny visual, you know. Is Mattia Binotto the next man to lead Alpine? Since rules do not allow any technical individuals to switch teams immediately, Binotto is spending his time away from the sport. Nevertheless, he can return to the paddock in 2024, and there are multiple teams he's linked with. Audi is one of the parties reportedly rumoured to be interested in him. Now, however, he is linked to Alpine following Zafnauer's departure. Jose Wood 5000, mentioning Alpine's interest in Binotto, wrote on Green Notebook, "This might sound odd, but Binotto, like Demio and Krief, is a protege of Sergio Marchionne and knows them both from the old days. Binotto was slung out of Ferrari at the end of last year, and it was probably significant that 6 months and a week after he left Maranello, he popped up at the British GP, not saying why he was there." Ooh. Please someone play the X-Files theme. Look, the main joke there is already in the mention of Jose Wood 5000, so we don't need to labour that point too hard. But, I mean, essentially, this is the story that Alpine has been clearing house. They've had this new investment that has come in. With it has come a lot of the top brass being polished off, let's say. And, I mean, Alpine are just in all kinds of trouble, aren't they? I mean, that said, Pierre Gasly did pretty well this weekend in the sprint race. But what are you to do? When people want results, there's just an expectation that you deliver, and sometimes people just won't take no for an answer. One of the things that Otmar Zafnauer said recently was, yes, there's a bit of instability at Alpine at the moment. People are looking to me, people are asking questions, but the thing is, I'm the man in charge. I'm the man with the plan. I've got a 100 race plan, and here's where I think we're going to be at the end of 100 races. Now, one of the things that's happened in the hours before I've come on to live stream was some statements from those who wielded the axe that led to his head being removed from his body, saying the problem is that Otmar and us are on different timelines. So Otmar has us winning, returning to a winning state, winning races, and presumably winning championships within 100 races. And unfortunately, his timeline and our timeline do not align. So they say. What saith Otmar Zafnauer? Well, he's fired back. Let me get in nice and close to this one so you can read it. Otmar Zafnauer, you can't get 9 women pregnant and hope that you have a baby in 1 month. Which, I mean, he's right. That's so true. That is just so true. You can't do that. Well, I guess you can. If you can make assumptions. You can hope that you can have a baby in a month. You just won't. That's probably just not going to happen. Makes you think, though, doesn't it? Who is doing the impregnating there? Who are the women? And what is the baby? Is the baby a championship? The other point that this makes is joining Alpine some 18 months ago from Aston Martin, Zafnauer and co. spoke time and time again about their 100 race plan to make the Enstone team a success. 33 races into his tenure as team boss, the 58-year-old has been given the boot, as he was informed this week that race number 34, the Belgian Grand Prix, will be his last with the team. So he's only 1/3, one trimester into his 100 race gestation period, and there will be no baby. He's been informed. Yeah, I don't think we'll follow that analogy really any further. We've probably already pushed it as far as we can. But yeah, I mean, the good news is, if you're an Alpine fan, according to the new people, the new incoming people, you'll be winning a championship within, what's that, 60 races? So that's 3 years. So before the end of 2027, you'll be world champions. So well done. Congratulations to you. This is a really a big moment.
Wow, I guess this is a big moment. I should care about it.
You should care about it. That's why I played that. One more thing that we could do. Well, I mean, I'm really interested in this, and I don't know how interested other people are, but I've had my hopes up for a long time. And if you've been in the Discord, you would know that I am all over this story all the time. Let's have a little look at the situation. A little while ago, it was reported that Bridgestone had made an attempt to join Formula One as an official tyre supplier. Now, I've had my hopes up before that a second tyre supplier would enter the sport. Last time, who was it last time? Hankook? I think it was Hankook last time. And I was like, Pirelli Hankook, tyre wall. I will have that. I will have that, please. Please and thank you. It didn't come to pass. It was never really going to come to pass last time. It seemed too ridiculous. It seemed like the Hankook just weren't ready or prepared to do it, partly because they were doing it at a time where the new tyre supplier was going to have to come in, and then after coming in, 1 year later, there was going to be a change to the tyre compound and regulations and stuff, so it was going to be like, well, what's the point? We may as well stick with Pirelli, and then that's exactly what happened. This time felt different to me. Maybe it just felt different because it was Bridgestone, but when the rumors started that Bridgestone had put in an application, I think they confirmed it as well. I was like, here we go. In a few months, we'll be talking about how there's another tyre war on, and then we will be rejoicing at that announcement, because the problem is there's just, in my opinion, not enough dynamism in the sport anymore. And what I really want to see is more variability between the cars, more strategy playing out throughout the race. I want the race to not be over after like 1 or 2 laps, unless there's a safety car or something like that. I just want genuine dynamism in a race, but I just never get it. This was the bad news that I got. This is thanks to old mate Florge, who shared this in the Discord. Thanks, Florge. You ruined my day. Nah, just kidding. Formula One chooses Pirelli tyres. No Bridgestone comeback. Bridgestone will not be returning to Formula One. The Japanese company received a rejection. Rude. You don't have to say it like that. Pirelli will supply tyres for the Premier class until 2027. Tyre War 2028? Anybody? Formula One will probably continue to run on Pirelli tyres beyond the 2024 season. Pirelli tyres. According to the information from Motorsport magazine, Bridgestone lost out in the bidding process for the sole tyre supplier, the short end of the stick. Bridgestone was the only competitor to Pirelli in the race. Both Pirelli and Bridgestone received the green light from the FIA. Bridgestone received the green light. Well, we know that. This translation is horrible. Anyway, it sounds like they were bidding to be a sole tyre supplier. But look, anything can happen in this crazy old sport. The other story that I wanted to go over, since we're talking tyres, this is Talking Tyres with Rod. As well as the potential tyre war, there was also this story floating around. I don't usually like to talk about rumours, but now that there's been an announcement, I feel like we can get into it. F1 Commission postpones ban on tyre blankets until 2025. This is something that the drivers have been extremely critical about. And we've seen Pirelli testing wet tyres that supposedly don't need tyre blankets to keep them warm. Seems like that's probably the absolute worst scenario for testing that. But anyway, what they're wanting to move to is tyres that don't require tyre blankets. You know, these warmer things. In case you don't know, that's what they're talking about. They would love to just not have to have that. And the problem is, number one, they need to do some tests to make sure that they're okay. It's obviously a big safety risk. You've already got Max Verstappen, who can't even pull out of his pit garage without hitting the wall, let alone imagine if he's on cold tyres, poor guy. Anyway, they want to make that move, but the decision has been made. Won't be happening anytime soon. The F1 Commission, let me just stop this stupid thing from playing. Anyway, I'll deal with that if it starts. The F1 Commission opted during a meeting on Friday at Spa to delay a ban on tyre blankets until the 2025 season. Despite Pirelli's extensive testing this year on blanketless tyres, the F1 Commission, comprised of Formula One, the teams, and the FIA, said that it was keen on the tyre manufacturer testing its product at a wider range of circuits to better assess its viability. You hear about this happening sometimes where they're like, a whole bunch of people convened at this place at this time, and it's always somewhere really nice. I always just wonder, how much of that is just them going, we need to have a talk about tyres. I'm still not really sure. How about we go to France? How about we go to Belgium? How about we go to Monaco? Have a chat about it. They're never going anywhere dire. It's always a beautiful place. Anyway, so tyre update. There's going to be no tyre war. Stuck with Pirelli for a little while. Tyre warmers, you're going to be seeing them for a little while. You're going to be seeing them, they do the unzip. Then they do the top, over the top, but they don't do them up. Then they whip them off. The guy at the front is like, take them off. That must be fun. It's a bit like when you walk up to an automatic door and you kind of do the thing like you've got the force and the door opens. Just whoosh, all the tyre blankets are gone. These are the things that I want to do myself, is what I'm saying. Those are the big stories as I saw them this week. That's to say also that there's a little race coming up, which is again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, my favorite track. If you're unaware, my buddy and I, Zach, did do a series on YouTube where we drove our favorite circuits. The best circuits in the world is what we claimed. This little series was called Race Off. And Zach and I competed against each other. And the idea was that we would keep track, see who could win. And, well, I won't give the scores away, but this is from a few years ago, though. And if you wanted to see it, I'm sure you would have seen it by now. But it's a nice way to do a quick lap of Spa, watching my horrible racing skills driving a Lotus. This was, I think, F1 2014 that we were driving. If you're wondering why there's no halos and stuff and why the Lotus is a thing. Here we are trying to drive around Spa. I'll just start it. There's no sound on this, but I'll just play this while I do a bit of an outro. Thanks for watching the stream. Thanks for watching the replay. I hope that you enjoy the race. I hope that between races, you enjoy hanging out with us in the Discord. You can go to the Discord on superlicense.fm. Zach's not here for me to throw to him and say, what does the FM stand for? But I'll just tell you. It stands for oh my God, that line is horrible. It stands for fun money. Superlicense.fm. You can go there and get links to everything. There's a Patreon which supports everything that we do. We don't raise a lot of money through the Patreon. We're not quitting our day jobs, but it covers the bills. That's what counts. Keeps everything rolling, stops my credit card from going into the red, and next thing you know, I'm living underneath the underpass. But thanks to our fantastic patrons, we don't need to do that. I've also released a special video just for patrons, and I'd love to keep doing that as a little thank you and a little bonus for them. But the more support that we can get through the Patreon, the better. Look at that great line. Well done, Rod. Straight into the wall. You really, yeah. I've got work to do. I believe I beat Zach in this round. You wouldn't know it from my lines. The one thing you may know is that we've left Twitter. So, well, we've set up a Threads, and the plan is that we will be leaving Twitter or X. Or we're not going to be Zetas anymore. You won't see any Zeets from us going forward in future after a certain point. So if you're on Twitter still, look forward to just getting spammed basically by notifications from us, because all the action going forward is going to be on Threads. You can get us at Threads. I think it's Superlicense F1. Again, the link is on the website. What's that website? Superlicense.fm. Please jump in the Discord and have a good time with us. Talk to us and share funny links and news with us. And you can ask us questions as well. So if you want us to answer a question on a live stream or on the podcast, jump in the Discord. Let's have a chat. That's a bit it. That's, yeah, the quicker I can turn this thing off, the better, I reckon. I'm desperate to look at that line straight across the corner. I think I'm going to get more than a 5-second penalty for that one. And frankly, I deserve it. Look, we're having a good time. I'm going to end the stream there. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. And this is going to be the summer break after this race. So I don't know if we're going to do live streams during the summer break, but we'll be doing the podcast. So I'll see you on the podcast. See you for a live stream next race probably. But otherwise, take it easy. See you later.